Welcome to the Twist News. I'm Erika Grey. I attended the ECR, which stands for European Conservatives and Reformist Party, Culture Weekend in Scilla, Italy, the first week of this September. The European Conservative and Reformist Party are united by their center-right values, according to this pamphlet, as expressed in the Reykjavik Declaration. The ECR Party is dedicated to individual liberty, national sovereignty, parliamentary democracy, private property, limited government, free trade, family values, and the devolution of power. These values underpin our politics, including our vision for a reformed European Union. Europe stands at a crossroads, and the ECR Party's agenda for reform has never been more relevant than it is today. Join our movement and help us advance a Europe and a world. This event included a list of high-profile diplomats from Giorgia Meloni's political party, as well as leading members of the European Conservatives and Reformist Party, along with many individuals who worked within it, as well as supporters. So it was an information-filled weekend. In this video, I'm going to give you my review of the party and their politics, but I'm going to give it from a little different perspective, because in addition to my attending this particular event, I've also attended a Federalist event that was hosted by the Spinelli Group. So I have something to compare this event to give you now an analysis of this party and their contribution to the European Union. Many media outlets have labeled the ECR Party as right-wing, and they get headlines by telling you how right-wing they are, and they're named populists. They're presented as hindering the European project from going forward. But before I give you my assessment, what I found was actually very enlightening, and I'm going to enlighten you today on my findings, because it was not what was presented in the media. But before I do, I'm going to play you some clips from the event that I attended with the Federalist Group. And then before I go on to what the European Conservatives and Reformists present, I want to show you what the Federalists present. So let's take a peek.
Because together we are stronger. Europe is more than the sum of the member states. We are much stronger together.
The core idea of Europe was not a common market. It was a political union. It was the United States of Europe that is the core idea.
It's not the French sovereignty which is important, European sovereignty is important.
Because the founding fathers had another thing in mind than the Treaty of Rome, I can tell you. The founding fathers had something completely different in mind. In the 50s, 51, 52, 53, they want a full federal union, a political union, an economic union, a defense union. It's fantastic, the Treaty of Rome, but let's now continue the work and do what the founding fathers really had in mind.
So as you've listened, the Federalists espouse a united Europe, a federal union, less power for the nation states, more power at the European level or within Brussels or the Brussels bureaucracy. And the Federalists have some very ambitious proposals. And their ideology is based on the idea that by the nations uniting, they can eliminate war on the continent. And the Federalists also have a view to a political empire of Europe recapturing its limelight as in ancient times. Also, Europe having a major voice on the world stage. Now we're going to listen to a short video that was played this weekend about the European Conservatives and Reformist Party. I discovered among the Federalists that many of them are very sincere. They're a very sincere group of individuals who believe that their ideology is going to provide solutions not only for Europe, but for the world. And I've also now been around the conservatives, and they are pitched or billed as populist, right-wing, pulling apart the European Union, pulling it down. On the contrary, what I found instead is that they're a lot more moderate in their views than I was anticipating. I mean, let's face it, with what's on the internet, I expected to hear some pretty radical right-wing views. That's not what I heard. What I heard was actually more centrist, and it was providing real solutions right now within the European Union. What I found was that the conservatives actually provide a great balance to the European Federalists who want to do everything at the European level. And the conservatives have some real great proposals, but in addition, they recognize that the issues, and this is what was presented this weekend, the issues that each nation state is dealing with, the inadequacies within their industries, can only be solved at the nation state level, not at the European level. So in this respect, they provide a tremendous balance to the European Union and a balance to the Federalist ideology. Now, this isn't to say that there are not some Federalist ideas that are pretty extreme, and it's not to say that there are not some conservative ideas that also go in the other direction. But at the end of the day, this party is going to provide needed balance and equilibrium within the European Union judicial structure. So it is a needed party. I can see them getting more votes in the next election, gaining more members. It is a movement within the EU, and it is a needed movement because what's happened is certain legislation is causing the nation states issues. And there are issues within the nation states that have to be addressed from the nation state level. So this is my assessment, and I was actually surprised and shocked because I expected some real serious radical views. And while I heard a little bit of what I expected in the sense of the talk of too much power in Brussels, it wasn't like I thought. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of clickbait out there, and this party is billed as so radical, but that's not the case. And also with the Federalists, you would have the idea that they're all power-hungry bureaucrats. Now, I'm not saying that those don't exist, but I've also met very sincere Federalists who believe in the European project. So the beauty of these two groups is that there's a balance that they provide within the European Union to bring more of an equilibrium. So in my opinion, the European Conservatives and Reformist Party should get more seats. So I have a series of videos now that will be forthcoming from this event, including a few interviews. So stay tuned. Anybody that is interviewed on this show, their channel is recommended, so be sure to check out their channel. You also want to be sure to subscribe, share this video, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, and stay tuned for more from the Twist News.